Chapter 9. Widow Repose. After the service was over and everyone had eaten, there was dancing in the square. While they were dancing, the princess went to the palace, to her chambers, to change clothes, and she had them close the door. When she was in her tunic, she went up to the treasure tower with two maidens. There were three of them weighed out. The three of them weighed out a load of ducats. The princess gave them to Blnc to carry to Trnt's room. When she had dressed again, she went back to where the emperor was. She went up to him and to Trnt, who was nearby. She whispered in Trnt's ear so that the emperor would not hear. "Your hands have caressed me so much that there is no part of my body that does not remember your touch." Trnt answered, "It is very fortunate for me that my hands have learned something new." The emperor said, "What are you two talking about so secretly?" "My lord," said the princess, "I was asking Trnt if there would be jousts at this celebration. He told me that there would not, and that they were waiting to hold them against the Turks." "That is the best possible news I could hear," said the emperor. "Do you feel well enough to be able to leave?" "Yes, by the Holy Virgin," said Trnt. "When the celebration is over, I will take the doctors with me, and I'll be able to go." They spoke of other things until Blnc came and signaled from a distance. When the emperor began to talk to other people, Trnt went quietly to Blnc to ask her what she wanted. She answered, "It is only logical you've lost the prize of all your efforts so many times, my lord, with your neglect and lack of persistence. You don't deserve to be rewarded any further since you're satisfied with what you have, and you've lost it all through your own fault. As far as I'm concerned, I don't want to be involved in your love affairs any longer. You don't need me. You need Widow Repose. She'll give you what you deserve. I'm not bound to do anything more for you. You are the most disloyal, unworthy knight who was ever born, and that you can't deny. If I were a knight, I would fight you. You were in bed with a maiden in your arms, the most beautiful, most pleasing, the worthiest lady who ever lived, and you shouldn't have just left her, just because she begged you to, or because she shed tears. And if she went there a virgin, I saw her leave a virgin, to your shame and confusion. The great error you committed will hurt me all my life. There is no lady or maiden in the world who wouldn't consider you the lowest of men if she knew what you have done. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I've already said enough. I only want to tell you that when the emperor sits down to dinner, you'll have to be there. I've just come from your chambers, and here's the key to your room. I beg you to go there quickly. I brought the keys so that no one could read what you'll find written there." Trnt took the keys and wanted to reply to what Blnc had told him, but it was impossible because the emperor was telling him to come right away. When he was there, the emperor told him that he was to sit alone at the table. The emperor, the empress, the princess, and all the maidens waited on him. There was no knight or lady who dared approach to serve him, because they were all in their seats waiting to hear what an old knight who was very experienced in arms would say. He was a very eloquent and a great reader who began to recite all the chivalresque deeds that Trnt had performed. The men and women forgot to eat as they listened to the great honors that Trnt had achieved up to that day. When Trnt had finished eating, the knight stopped reading, and his recitation had lasted more than 3 hours. When evening arrived, the dinner was as abundant as the afternoon meal had been. After the dancing, there were farces and short plays, as were required at such festivities. These festivities lasted almost the whole night through, and the emperor did not want to leave until dawn. The princess was never bored at the celebration because she could see and talk to Trnt, and Trnt barely dared to talk to the princess for fear of the emperor who was very near. But he told her quietly, "My lady, last night was certainly more enjoyable to me than tonight is." Blnc quickly interjected, "My lord, your words are fine, but not your actions." Then, when the emperor saw that dawn was breaking, he got up and wanted everybody to go with him to escort Trnt to his chambers. Trnt thanked him for the great honor he was paying him, and he wanted to escort the emperor to his chambers, but the worthy lord would not permit it. When Trnt was in his chambers, he thought that because Blnc was so unhappy with him, she had probably written him some letter. But when he went into his room, he saw a heap of gold on the floor. He was astonished at the princess's great virtue, and he thought more highly of her goodwill than he did of the gift. He had a potlatch come and ordered him to safeguard it. When it was time for Mass, all the lords went, and Trnt found no way to talk to the princess, to thank her for what she had sent him, until after dinner. After eating, they told the emperor that since he had slept so little the night before, he should go and rest, and that when it was time for the festivities, they would all return. As the ladies went back to the palace, Trnt drew near the princess and told her, "I haven't the spirit to talk, nor can my tongue express all the words of love that befit the works of honor that your majesty bestows on me every day." She quickly replied, although she did not dare to speak much because the emperor was passing by. She only said to him, "You are my lord. I am in your power. Decide what you will do with me. Make war or peace. If I don't help you, if I don't help you, who are my lord, whom would I help? What I do now is little, but if you consider what I plan to do, if you want more, the door to the treasure are open for you and closed for anyone else."